Michael Jackson may have said it best when he said he always feels like someone is watching him. Well, those words are not just hyperbole for one former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard from the state of Hawaii, because it came out last week that she has been placed on a terrorist watch list. Why? We don't know. She doesn't know. The only reason that we know this right now is because two TSA whistleblowers have come out and confirmed that yes, indeed, the former Congresswoman and current servicewoman in the United States Army National Guard is currently on a terrorist watch list. Now, according to Racket News, she was placed on the terrorist watch list about a day after she came out and criticized the Biden Harris administration for their proxy war in Ukraine, because she believes what the Biden Harris administration is doing right now in Ukraine will lead to another Iraq and Afghanistan situation. I want you to listen to what she had to say about her being placed on the watch list as part of the Quiet Skies program, and then I want to talk about it because it's really, really bad, guys.
So what exactly did Tulsi Gabbard do to get added to the terror watch list? It came the day after she criticized the Biden administration right here on The Angle.
Our foreign policy decisions are being made by unelected people in the military-industrial complex who are profiting from us being in a constant state of war, and the national security state that has more power to undermine our freedoms and liberties when we are in a state of war. Kamala Harris does not have the strength to stand up to the military-industrial complex.
Okay, that's wild. Joining me now, Tulsi Gabbard, former U.S. Congresswoman, Fox News contributor. Tulsi, now, you serve this country in uniform, even getting deployed to Iraq. Thank you for going, unlike Tim Walz. And now you're being surveilled. I mean, it's a form of surveillance or hassling and intrusion upon your freedom to move by the government. What is this? I mean, I didn't believe it, really, when I first heard about it. I said, oh, that can't be. But how does this make you feel?
Laura, this is a clear act of political retaliation. There's no other way to put it. You laid out the sequence of events the very next day after my conversation with you on the air, warning the American people about how dangerous a Kamala Harris presidency would be. I was placed on this domestic terror watch list, which is called the Quiet Skies list under the Department of Homeland Security. The clear pain and real visceral hurt that comes from this is, as you mentioned, like many Americans, I enlisted because of the terrorist attacks on 9/11, to go after the Islamist terrorists who attacked us on that day, and to now have my own government now turn around and put me on a domestic terror watch list. It hits to the core and is the ultimate sense of betrayal. But we look at why they are doing this. It has a chilling effect. It sends a warning both to me and to anyone else who even thinks about daring to criticize our own government, which is a guaranteed protected right under the First Amendment.
Yeah.
That we will be subject to a violation of our Fourth Amendment right to privacy through this kind of surveillance. And that's the biggest stress that's been caused by this entire situation, Laura, is now forever. I will always be looking over my shoulder, wondering if and how our government in any of these different agencies is surveilling me, watching me. Are they reading my text messages? Are they listening to my phone calls?
Yeah, I was going to say yes, yes, and yes. That's what I would guess, at least. Now, in a letter from whistleblower attorney Tristan Levitt, he writes that the special mission coverage in Ms. Gabbard's case reportedly involves 2 explosive detection canine teams, 1 transportation security analyst in explosives, 1 plainclothes TSA supervisor, and 3 federal air marshals on every flight Ms. Gabbard boards. I mean, I'm not laughing, Tulsi, because this is literally like the Soviet Union, China today, North Korea, any totalitarian regime. But Donald Trump's the totalitarian, right? He's the dictator in waiting. Okay.
Yeah, this is just, and this is what we know about, and we know about it because of these brave whistleblowers from the Air Marshal Service who are coming forward What I'm questioning is, what are the things that are happening in our government that I don't know about? How long have they been surveilling me? This is just a recent occurrence. I would not be surprised to know that there are other government agencies who are also being weaponized against political opponents, those who dare to challenge this regime, the Biden-Harris administration. And that's really what it comes down to, and why they have to be stopped.
They have to be
guaranteed
defunded.
the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I cannot be free, and you pointed to this. Yes, exactly. I cannot be free so long as my government is breathing down my neck and watching my every move.
Well, we got to go, but we're going to be following this closely, demanding that this be completely withdrawn, and whoever is responsible for this decision, and there's one person who made the decision, should be fired immediately. But this should never, ever happen in the United States of America.
To anyone.
Tulsi, no, to anybody.
Thank you.
I think this is the tip of the iceberg, and I know Donald Trump is not surprised by any of this. Tulsi, thank you very much.
Now, if the Quiet Skies program sounds like something out of George Orwell's 1984, that's because it is. The fact that we have two unconstitutional agencies that are surveilling American citizens strictly for speaking their mind should anger every single American. And the fact that we know this now, it should enrage you. You should feel motivated to do something about it and to spread the word, because I believe that sunlight is the best disinfectant. And don't tell me, guys, that they're not afraid of you. Otherwise, why would they be surveilling not just Tulsi Gabbard, but certain people who wear the red hats, that support a certain presidential candidate? Trying to get past the YouTube censors, guys, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. They survey supporters of that presidential candidate. They survey people that served in the military. They survey Christians and deem them as possible domestic terrorists. This is not some right-wing conspiracy. This is coming from documentation from the TSA. And this whistleblower, these two whistleblowers that have come out and said that Tulsi Gabbard was on this list, have made clear that this is the case. This is disgusting. You're telling me that our government is monitoring, so arguably some of the people that love this country the most, for being possible domestic terrorists? They're violating your Fourth Amendment rights to privacy just because you support a certain presidential candidate, because you belong to a certain religious group, and because you possibly served in the military. This is disgusting. This is un-American. If you want to be serious about making America great again and about draining the swamp, this should be proof that these unconstitutional agencies need to go, because they are suppressing the will and the rights of the American people. Nobody should live in fear for criticizing their government. That is an American thing. That is an American right. But you see, that's what's happening to Tulsi Gabbard, because Tulsi Gabbard has been very outspoken about criticizing both the Trump administration when it's out of line and the Biden-Harris administration. She has long been an advocate for civil liberties and criminal justice reform. Need I remind you of how she took Kamala Harris to school during the 2020 CNN debates over her record as a corrupt DA? So it does not surprise me that these agencies are targeting her, because she believes in the American way of life, which unfortunately is something that I'm seeing get less and less on the political left in this country. But this is not a right versus left thing. This is a right versus wrong thing. This should not happen in the United States of America. This is the kind of stuff we see in communist China, in the USSR when it existed, in North Korea, in religious totalitarian states like Iran. Those things are normal in those places, but not in the good old US of A. It shouldn't have happened. I shouldn't be talking to you about this right now. And the fact that instead of launching an investigation to get to the bottom of why Tulsi Gabbard has been placed on the list, the whistleblowers are now having investigations launched against them. I say that we must not only launch investigations against the TSA and the DHS, but tear them to shreds. They shouldn't have existed in the first place. And they are violating our rights and our civil liberties. That is the only way that you're going to see liberty restored, is getting rid of the things that never should have existed in the first place. And it should be no surprise that it's happening to people who have the courage to speak out. But it should also encourage you, because if they're monitoring American citizens for the political candidate that they choose and for their religion, it should show you that they're scared of you as an individual. And that should show you the power that you have, that you are standing as an individual. You are standing in the way of them creating a complete totalitarian state. This is not hyperbole, but we must go to work. This case needs to be investigated, and Tulsi Gabbard should be able to criticize whatever administration or whatever unconstitutional agency she wants. This is America. This is not China. But take heart, because this is being exposed. And the fact that I'm able to talk to you about it right now is a good sign. I'm hoping that the more people that see this, we can raise public awareness, and that more people would understand the abuses of power that are going on under the Quiet Skies program, because this never should have existed in the first place. Do me a favor. Like this video, share it, and subscribe to my channel. Help me get the word out so we can raise awareness about this gross totalitarian, authoritarian regime that is trying to be created, that you, my friends, are standing in the way of right now.